Hey there, you're listening to The Mighty Mommy with some quick and dirty tips for practical parenting. The title of this episode is Choosing Your Battles. I considered titling it Choose Your Battles, but I figured with a title like that, there really wasn't much else to say. You hear it all the time, especially when working with children. It is great advice for just about any situation, but how do you know which battles are really worth fighting for? And when you feel like socking someone in the nose for telling you to choose your battles, do you recognize that you're already knee-deep in the battle? If you find yourself faced with a tantrum, a bout of whining, rejection, or disrespectful behavior of any kind, you're challenged to deal with that behavior in that very moment. Most often, as adults, we want to be the stronger person. We want to show the child who's the boss and force them to play by our rules. We also find ourselves taking the "I'm not going to let him get away with that" mentality. We are the parents, the role models, the sources of strength, and we are also the judge and the jury a lot of the time. That's a bit of pressure we're putting on ourselves, but that's our job. There will be moments in ours and our children's lives where the stress of a situation can either skyrocket out of control or simply turn inward and make us, stressed out. This is when you have to decide if it's really that important. I'm not suggesting that you become a pushover by any means, although I have been called that by other parents. I've also had complete strangers compliment me on how well-behaved my children are out in public. All it takes is one bad moment to change someone's perspective. I'm certainly not a perfect parent. I do my best. What else can be expected of any of us? And, for the record, I have scolded my children loudly and embarrassingly in public and walked out of a place shamed by their behavior. It happens. We have to move on. The first step in choosing your battles is knowing when and how to choose them. There are certain obvious situations where you should and will stand your ground with your child. If your child is damaging property or hurting someone else, clearly your child should be removed from the situation and disciplined accordingly. Not all situations are as cut and dry, however. Two situations I ran into recently with my son regarding snacks and naps come to mind. My son gets out of his preschool class several hours before his sister is home from her full-time school. He has lunch at home and then a nap. When his sister gets home, they usually have a snack at the same time. It's just one of our routines. If one of them has a snack, the other one will undoubtedly want one too. There are certain days where my son refuses to take his nap. He's 4 years old at this writing and developing quite a mind of his own. I've learned over time that sometimes when he's tired, he's also cranky. And it's a bit of a challenge to get him to agree to his nap. I get to choose whether to force the issue or just let him be tired and awake. The snack time issue is that sometimes he'll want his snack before his sister gets home, or immediately after he's had lunch. It's not usually a battle until I say no, and then he starts being whiny and disrespectful. Generally, he's fine with waiting until snack time, but sometimes he'll put in a second or third request. Again, I'm faced with the "do I really want to fight with him about this" moment? So, once you've realized that you have a decision ahead of you, how do you make the final decision? My suggestion is to take a deep breath and think about what solution will offer the closest win-win situation. Ask yourself a few questions. 1. Is it worth fighting over? 2. Am I just frustrated with the situation? 3. What will bring me the most peace? 4. Is this just a once-in-a-while incident, or is it repeat behavior that I actually need to deal with right now? 5. Is there a way to resolve the issue without creating additional frustration to anyone? Your answers to these questions might help you find the resolution you're looking for. Another idea is to ask your child what he thinks about the situation. If it's his behavior that's in question, you could say, "I don't like your behavior right now. How do you think I should handle it?" You might be surprised at the response you get. If you hear something good, let me know. My kids always have to stop and think about it, and they usually respond with, "You don't have to do anything, I'll behave." And sometimes they actually do. I would love to hear about the responses you receive. I also welcome your questions, shared experiences, or parenting tips. For those of you that are not already fans on Facebook, come on over and join me on the Mighty Mommy Facebook fan page. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/mightymommy. That's it for now. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to request a topic for the Mighty Mommy, you can email me directly at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com or leave a message by calling 206-202-2185. This is your friend, the Mighty Mommy, wishing you happy and fun parenting.